Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. Another day, another game, and this is the 6 pointer for the soul. The battle for top four. The battle for 6 points, and it feels like revenge for me because of what happened in the last game when they beat us 2-1 at Villa Park. It is Manchester United versus Aston Villa at Old Trafford. This isn't just another Sunday at the Theatre of Dreams. This is a heavyweight chess match with the Champions League ticket on the line, and Manchester United faces Aston Villa. Under Michael Carrick, we've seen United evolve into a team of kind of intelligent control, the I keep missing these phrases. Safe first pass routine and philosophy. Moving away from obviously chaotic duels in the past with the structured Ruben Amorim system, but standing in our way is the master of process himself, Unai Emery. Both teams are locked on 51 points. That's facts. Both teams are fighting for that third spot. And while Carrick wants to dominate the rhythm, Emery wants to bait us into a trap. Now, it's a safe first pass versus artificial transition, as I just said. And today we're breaking down the blueprints, the key battles, and how United can actually dismantle the most disciplined block in the league. So let's dive in. Now, we're going to start with the head-to-head, basically, right? Just to give you a sense of an idea of what we're walking into at Old Trafford, basically. Historically, Villa have held a firm grip on this fixture, pretty much winning 37 or 54 Premier League meetings. But don't let the history books fool you. Emery's era has made Villa a nightmare for the Big Six. While United beat Villa 2-0 back in 2005, the most recent meeting just before Christmas in 2025 saw Villa snatch a 2-1 win, at Villa Park. Villa have developed a reputation for being streetwise. They've gained 19 points from losing positions this season, and they don't panic. They don't just go away. At Old Trafford, the margins have been razor thin. So we expect like a high tension atmosphere where one tactical slip decides, the entirety of the game, decides the direction of the game, right? Now, if we're going to talk about like basically how the teams have fared with regards to head, they have both played. Man United and Villa have played 61 times. Man United have 41 wins, 23 home and 18 away. While Villa have 2 wins, 2 away wins, 4 home draws, and 6 wins in total. Now, in the last 5 games between both teams, Man United have won basically 3 of the 5. 3 of the 5. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses, and 1 loss. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. So the last loss came in 2025, right? I mean, if you remember the emphatic under Erik ten Hag, the emphatic 3-2 win where Rasmus Hojlund scored 2 goals and stuff like that, we came from behind. That was in 2023. And then the other one in 2024, 2-1. I think this was under Ruben. No. This was under Erik ten Hag. And then 0-0 draw in October. I think this was also under Erik ten Hag. And then Ruben Amorim faced them in May 2025 and beat them. And then in December 2025, same year, Ruben Amorim lost. Man United lost to Villa at Villa Park. So we've had this tie really locked, but they've been pestering us for a while now. Now, heading into this game, when it comes to like the head-to-head, historically, like I said, United have had a firm grip on this, but the form is where the issue is. Form guide. The form table shows two sides trending in very, very different directions, as you can see on our dashboard here. Basically, for United, it's like basically 3 wins from 5. But since Carrick took over in January, United is the league's momentum king. 4 wins and a draw in the last 5, obviously, including a gritty win over Newcastle and a tactical demolition. I mean, a gritty loss against Newcastle and a tactical demolition of Spurs. And now we're scoring an average of maybe 1.75 goals per game under Michael Carrick. And basically, we kind of have shown some frailties in defense over the last couple of games, but we've kind of been watertight too as well. As for Villa, they're wobbling. They've lost 3 of their last 5 games, including their heavy defeat to Chelsea and a 2-0 loss to Wolves. That 4-1 defeat to Chelsea and 2-0 loss to Wolves. Also, they're coming off a midweek Europa League tie at Lille where they beat them 1-0, which means fatigue is also a massive factor. If you look at even like the last game where they played, now they're desperate to stop the blood, stop the bleed and remain in that top 4 spot. And basically, when you look at other things as we have displayed on our dashboard, you can actually see that, Man United basically had this mini blip that happened, during the time when we faced Newcastle. And it was tough to take. It was tough to accept. I mean, I ranted for a while because basically we were supposed to be seeing things. And we said this at the beginning of the season, where we said that we need, not at the beginning, just at the beginning of the year in January, where we said that Ruben Amorim being gone means that any other manager that comes in needs to win. So if you look at basically on the top left of the dashboard, you can see Man United's form: 3 wins from the last 5 with 1 draw and 1 loss, while Villa 1 win from the last 5 with 2 draws and 2 losses. You look at the same with regards to top team ranks. Man United are 4th when it comes to goals, 51 goals, while Villa are 10th with 39 goals. But one amazing thing about their stats now, about this game and for Villa, like from the Villa perspective, Villa are outperforming their expected goals by 15.6 this season, and that's the largest gap in the league. So, which is pretty interesting to see. Then with regards to assists, United are 3rd with 36, Villa are 6th with 31. With saves, United are 19th because we seldom make saves or even face a lot of shots with 57, while Villa are 7th with 77. And with regards to shots, Man United are 1st with 431, Villa are 11th with 329, and all of that. The rest, we have both had 1 red card. We have also been we're 19th on yellows with 42, almost the least in the league, while Villa are 16th with 45, just 3 yellow cards up ahead. But if you look at where Man United is placed with 51 points plus 11 goal difference ahead of Villa, when it comes to points and goal difference, Villa have +5, and then, treading pretty closely is Chelsea, who face Everton in the weekend, and Liverpool, who also have their own tie over the weekend. Then we also have, when it comes to goals progression by minute, Man United have scored most of their goals from 61 to 75 minutes, while Villa have also scored most of their goals from 61 to 75 minutes and above. And then we've also scored from 31st to kind of like 31st minute to the end of first half to kind of like the beginning of second half. Villa to have similar kind of goals. We scored from 31st minute to like the 60th minute. More second highest number of goals were scored in that time, while Villa have scored from the 31st minute to around like the 46th minute. So basically towards the end of first half, or even like they really start the second half pretty quickly and all of that. Apart from that, those are the areas Man United have, basically the times Man United have pretty much scored. Well, we scored most of our goals coming towards the end of games and all of that. But then overall, like in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to like all the times we faced Villa, we've played them several times, and with regards to the head-to-head matches, and with 104 wins for Man United to 43 draws and 52 wins for Villa, that's more than double of what, or kind of like double of what Villa have, double the wins. With regards to like offensive contributions, we have Bruno Fernandes, who is the highest with 14 assists and 7 goals, while Morgan Rogers, who is kind of like a 23-year-old player that I'm observing, he's got 8 goals with 5 assists, while Bryan Mbeumo has 9 goals with 3 assists, and Oli Watkins, when it comes to goals, has 8 goals with 1 assist, not doing really well this season. Benjamin Šeško has 8 goals with 1 assist, and then Buendia has 5 goals with 2 assists, and then Casemiro, the next in line, has 6 goals with 2 assists, while John McGinn has 3 goals with 2 assists. So, basically dwindling form for both teams, and hopefully United get the better of the day on the day. And then we go on to how Aston Villa play under Unai Emery. Now, under Unai Emery, Aston Villa basically play a certain style of play. He's the king of press baiting, basically. Aston Villa are the king of press baiting, especially Unai Emery. Villa will spend an eternity passing the ball between Emi Martinez and his centre backs, inviting United to press high. Why? Because they want to create an artificial transition, right? The moment you commit, they zip a vertical pass into Morgan Rogers or Jadon Sancho if he's playing on the day, or even this new guy, the guy that they sent on loan, and he basically just came back, and that is Bailey, right? So they just quickly zip a pass across to the wings, and they take advantage of us, especially when they turn into a 4v3 counter. Defensively, they are a bank of 8. They sit in a 4-4-2 mid block, and this is kind of like an incredibly narrow kind of way that is set up. They are happy for United to have the ball on the wings, but they also will suffocate the center of the pitch. Now, when we come to like the predicted starting 11 for Aston Villa, we're going to go with Emi Martinez in net, and then Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa in the center back in the 4-2-3-1, and then Martin and Matikash in the left and right back respectively, and then you have Douglas Luiz and Andrew Nana in their defensive midfield, double pivot, kind of similar to what Man United is looking to play. Has played under Michael Carrick. Then you also have a situation where you have Morgan Rogers on the left, 23-year-old England international, Emi Buendia in the middle, or anybody that they have plays that middle, but most likely going to be Emi Buendia. And then you have Leon Bailey, who's going to play on the right, and then obviously Ollie Watkins as their striker. Now, key player to watch for Aston Villa is obviously, Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers is their key player to watch. 23-year-old England international who has played 40 games for Villa with 3,263 minutes played, 10 goals and 7 assists. Basically, in the last 4 games, he hasn't scored a goal. So he's kind of dipped a little bit, but he's the key player because he scored wonder goals against Man United in that 2-1 win. He's been their breakout star of 2026, and he's currently their top scorer and the most creative spark. He operates in that pocket like an inside forward from the left side, dropping deep to receive the ball from the defense. Excuse me. From the defense and carrying it 40 yards. And if United's pivot doesn't actually track his vertical carries, he will destroy the defensive line. And you look at the situation where I was kind of annoyed with Leny Yoro for the way he covered him. Now, because then when we played them, it was a back 3. Now it's no longer a back 3. It's going to be a back 4. So Leny Yoro will have his work cut out because he'll have a lot of work to do. Right? And Villa are good with that counter because I saw what they did against Chelsea, but they missed a lot of chances, and that's why they kind of lost that game. Which will take us to Man United and how Man United play, because we have to talk about it. Now, how Man United play under Michael Carrick. Under Michael Carrick is all about like the structural integrity with the we start with a 4-2-3-1 but morph into a 3-2-5 in possession. Typically, Luke Shaw or any of the wing backs becomes provides the width on the left, becomes the fly fullback, while the right back tucks in to form a back 3 with the back line. Now, the goal is to move Villa's block side to side using bounce passes until gaps open for kind of like a central overload. Unlike previous seasons, we aren't just chasing the ball defensively. We sit in a 4-4-2 block and wait for the opposition to make a mistake. But then Villa are also good at waiting for the ball, waiting for the opposition and baiting the opposition to set a trap for them. while Man United will not have to also do that too as well. So when we have more possession, we seem to struggle a lot. Now, key player for Man United, before we go into key player for Man United for this, we will talk about predicted lineup. Predicted starting lineup goes with Son Lamens in net, Lenny Euro and Maguire again. Obviously, Licha Martinez doesn't seem to be coming back, and I don't expect him to come back. And then we have Luke Shaw on the left, Dalot on the right, and then we have Casemiro and Mainoo in the middle in the 4-2-3-1, and then Bruno Fernandes, Cunha, and then Ahmad gets back into the lineup for this one because we don't want Villa to control how we press. And then we put Mboma as the 9, and then Benjamin Sesko comes in from the bench. Now, the reason why I said that is because Ahmad is good with 1v1, so it will be good to be able to have an outlet when we switch the ball and all of that. We've seldom had that in the last 2 games, and that's why we lost to Newcastle. We need an outlet. Even in this first minute where Ahmad came on to add pace into the game, it was difficult for Newcastle. But then when they countered us, it was bad. So we need to start off with the pace pretty quickly. Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot have their work cut out when it comes to dealing with especially Morgan Rogers, who comes in to the wide side and then obviously leaves that Lenny Euro and Maguire dealing with whatever comes through the middle. But yeah, and the work rate of the midfield is very important because the intensity dropped in the last game, and it'll be very important to see, what the midfield has to do. So, which takes us to the key player for Man United in this one. And for me, my key player for this game is Bruno Fernandes. He was injured against Aston Villa, and it was evident that we lost a bit of, like in the last game, we lost a bit of momentum in that game. And then in the game against Newcastle, it was really tough because only him can do everything, and he was creating all the chances, but we're just not putting them away. And we should have kind of started with a fast-paced attack, seeing as Newcastle were starting with a fast-paced attack. The same thing is going to happen for Villa. They're going to start with a fast-paced attack, and if we don't break their line, it's going to be difficult. But then we'll come to the strategies, right, of how to play. Now, key player for Man United is Bruno Fernandes. And in Carrick's system, we're going to liken it to what he had in his last game, in the last stint as a manager at Middlesbrough. Bruno has been kind of like the architect of what happens in the Carrick system. If I must say, he has been the architect of what happens in Man United for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Now, taking a leaf out of the Chuba Akpom playbook from Carrick's Borough days, Bruno is encouraged to let the wingers stretch the play before making a devastating run into the box. His timing will also be a key aspect of the game to breaking Villa's high line, because they're going to also do a high line as well to keep us off. That's what Unai Emery also does a lot. And then another key player that we have to actually look out for Man United is Ahmad. And the truth is, no matter what we say, Ahmad has been very, whether his output has not been that good, he's just only had 4 goal contributions this season, 2 goals, 2 assists, especially at Man United, after playing 24 games, and basically 1,823 minutes, right? So, and in the last 4 games, he's played fewer minutes. He played 14 minutes in the game against Newcastle. He played 15 minutes in the game against Palace, and then he played 58 minutes in the game against Everton. So, he's long overdue a start, and he can bring a bit of pace and dynamism in our team. He makes Mbomo to kind of be a second outlet when he's the first outlet, and once we switch play, it gets straight to him. So these are the things we have to look out for to be able to maximize Ahmad's ability in this team. So Ahmad's our key player, a second key player as well. Now, 4 strategies to beat Aston Villa. 4 key strategies to win Aston Villa at Old Trafford. Now, how do we break Unai Emery's trap? That's the question that we need to keep asking. How do we break Unai Emery's trap? There are several ways, we can look at this, and there's several ways we can analyze this. Like, how can we break it down? First and foremost, we have to refuse the bait. Villa are good at setting the bait, so we have to refuse that bait. And like I said, Villa will want us to press Emi Martinez, so we shouldn't. By staying in our 4-4-2 mid block, we deny them the artificial transition, like the space that they crave, especially with Matty Cash, the fullbacks, Maatsen, as well as Leon Bailey, as well as basically Emi Buendia and Morgan Rogers. They want to take opportunities like that. That's the space they crave. They tried it against us and they beat us 2-1, so that's it. So we have to force them to try to break us down. So we have to be the mid to low block team. And that's something that they've struggled to do, especially a team in the last one, especially when Chelsea came back to beat them. Now, first and foremost, we have to ensure that we're difficult to break down, so defensively astute. We have to refuse to fall for that bait. Then the second one is to attack the second half slide, basically. Villa has played a lot of football in Europe recently, and Carrick needs to utilize his bench, basically bringing on pace like Ahmad and Cunha, especially starting with them, Ahmad and Cunha, and then up until like the 60th to 70th minute. If he's going to start with Šeško, then Bumo and Ahmad must be on the pitch, and then Cunha comes in to be like the maverick, to kind of exploit the tiring Villa backline that has actually considered let goals in the last 3 consecutive games, right? Then number three strategy is to exploit the offside trap, right? Villa plays the highest line in the league. With Bruno's vision and the pace of Ahmad and Bumo and Cunha, United must actually look for the curved run behind Matty Cash. One perfectly timed through ball is all it takes. Then number 4 is to isolate the pivot. If it's maybe Douglas Luiz, like we predicted that was going to happen, or Onana, often having to cover huge horizontal distances. Same thing for Man United, but United must actually use the diamond overloads in the middle. If Mainoo and Casemiro can kind of outnumber Villa's double pivot, then we can cut off the supply line to Oli Watkins. And the truth is, Mainoo needs to step up in this one. But I've said too much, and that's where I'll kind of end it when it comes to the Mainoo talk. With regards to, kind of like my final prediction in this thing, this is going to be a game of patience, right? It might be a 4-4 thriller like we had at Bournemouth, but the tactical nerds, right? But for the tactical nerds, it's a feast, right? United are organized and dangerous on the break, but United finally have the discipline to match them. And we need to also take our chances. Now, given recent defensive frailties and fragilities from Villa, right? Conceding 4 goals against Chelsea, United's newfound, in quotes, Carrick-ball stability. Well, for me, I'll be going for a 2-0 win. 2-0 Manchester United win. It's going to be tough, but we need to finish off this game. I think we score early through kind of like a Bruno Fernandes late run to kill the game, or even on a counter-attack from Ahmad to create a chance from Bumo in the second half. These are the kind of opportunities I'm looking for that Man United can take advantage of. Now, my question to you all is, what's your take? What's your takes? Who would you start, in that back line? I've gone with Dalot and Shaw. Would you, because considering the performance of the last game, would you go with that? Or you bring back Mazraoui as the attacking fullback to pin back Matty Cash? I mean, Matty Cash has a way of scoring against Manchester teams. He scored twice against Manchester City. So now, do we, like I said, remain with Luke Shaw or continue with Mazraoui from the last game? And can we actually trust that this 4-2-3-1 can keep this 4-2-3-1 formation and style of play under Michael Carrick can keep a clean sheet against Oli Watkins? I mean, he's had hard time scoring. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Let me know your predictions as we look towards the game on Sunday. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. What are your thoughts on everything that we've talked about today with regards to the preview for the game against Aston Villa at Old Trafford? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.